Are you the friend who's always being asked for health advice? Now imagine turning that passion into a fulfilling career with our Become a Nutrition Coach program. Step into a world where your enthusiasm for wellness becomes the heart of your own thriving business. With me as your professor and guide and coach on our user-friendly digital platform, you can learn from anywhere at your very own pace. It's perfect for your busy life. Envision empowering others to live their healthiest lives, all while growing a career you love. You're not just gaining a certification here, you're joining a community of like-minded professionals ready to support and celebrate with you every step of the way. So what are you waiting for? It's time to nourish your future and help change lives, including your own. Head over to nutritiouslife.com/BNC for a free class and a sneak peek of the program. Your journey to becoming a nutrition coach begins now. Where are all my midlife mamas who want to look and feel their best? I know you're here, and I know many of you, like me, want to look and feel your best while also being as natural and healthy as absolutely possible. Well, you cannot miss this week's episode. Welcome to Living a Nutritious Life. I'm your host, Keri Glassman, and in today's episode, I sat down with the absolutely brilliant Dr. Reis Oliveira. A true trailblazer in skincare science, Carolina is a PhD and the CEO and co-founder of OneSkin. After earning her doctorate in immunology, she relocated from Brazil to Silicon Valley to pursue the goal of using science to help prevent age-related diseases. Under her leadership, OneSkin has made significant strides towards that mission, starting with their proprietary OS-01 peptide, the first peptide scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age. In today's episode, Carolina breaks down how most anti-aging products only scratch the surface, while she's found a way to take a cellular approach to skincare using peptides to actually reverse aging from within. We talked about lifestyle, how sun exposure, and even stress impact our skin's biological age, and why taking care of our skin is just as vital to our overall health as our nutrition or exercise. If you want to age well and glow from the inside out, this episode is a must listen. There is also a special show discount code for you in the show notes. You can get 15% off your first order of OneSkin with the code Keri, that's Keri, at oneskin.co/Keri. That's oneskin.co/Keri. That link is also in the show notes. So don't forget to go check that out in the show notes. And of course, keep listening. You do not want to miss this episode. And if you love the episode, as always, please rate, review, and share. Welcome to Living a Nutritious Life. I'm Keri Glassman, a celebrity registered dietitian nutritionist. Join me every Tuesday on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms as I bring in some heavy hitters to share the latest in nutrition and wellness science. We dive deep into food, sleep, stress, relationships, and so much more. Your weekly guide to a happier, healthier, more nutritious life. Hello, Carolina. I have been so excited to have this conversation because, first of all, you are just this incredible trailblazer in the skincare world and as a researcher. And as a midlife woman, I got to tell you, one of the things I think about, not just every day, but multiple times a day, is skincare and how my skin is aging. And so I am so excited to have this conversation with you. And I know our listeners are going to love it too. So let's dive right in here. First question for you. You went from studying stem cells to founding this incredible skincare brand. Tell us how that happened. How did you go from studying stem cells to, me taking something out of my, I'm away right now, taking something out of my little toiletry kit and applying it to my face today.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting story. And thank you so much for having me, Keri. So excited for this conversation. So I was always passionate about by science from a young age. I wanna do something that would really impact human health. I want to cure disease. And so that's why I got my PhD in this area of stem cell biology and tissue engineering. I want to make sure that I could translate that research and make an impact in people's lives. And initially, one of the things that we got really good during our PhDs was like to grow human tissues in the lab. And one of the tissues that we were growing was a human skin. And so initially, we realized that we had this platform that we could use these human skins that we were growing to test new products, new cosmetics, and evaluate both like safety and efficacy. And as we started to dive into this industry, and more specifically this anti-aging industry, which is like $100 billion market, as we know, but there is still a lot of misunderstanding in terms of the efficacy of those products. And we knew that we could validate if these products work in a very different way, kind of from a molecular standpoint. We could measure if these products could reverse the age of the skin, as they were claiming. And so we started testing these products, and we realized that a lot of products were not able to, most products were not able to reverse the age of the skin. Some of them were actually causing inflammation and toxicity, potentially accelerating aging. And the other thing that we realize is that the science of aging has evolved so much in the past like 10, 15 years. And now we as a scientist understand better what's actually causing aging at the cellular level.
Right.
And all of these products that were in the market, they were not addressing aging at the cellular level. They're trying to address the symptoms of aging, like the fine lines, the wrinkles.
Right.
So if you think of like the most common products like retinols or acids, what they're doing, they're basically either like exfoliating your skin, removing the dead cells, or inducing cell renewal, so you produce like a fresher skin, a newer skin, but you're not necessarily targeting what's causing aging underneath at the cellular level. And so all of that led us to really see an opportunity to, wow, there is a better way to tackle aging the skin. There is this novel science that can be more effective. And there is an eager market for products that are really effective. And so that's when we decided basically to shift our approach from testing products to look for new molecules that could primarily reverse the age of the skin. And to me, what was the most interesting part, connecting the dots, looking back, as a scientist, I want to create that impact in human health. And as I was studying aging, I realized how aging is basically this root cause of most of the diseases that we experience as we grow older, right? And so if we can tackle age in the first place, we can not only help people live longer, we can help people live healthier. And to me, that's like even a better value proposition, because we're extending these healthy years of life and helping people to enjoy every minute of their lives and maintaining their health and their quality of life. So I think in the end, we saw an opportunity to connect skin with this overall like kind of longevity approach. And that's what we have been focusing the past like 9 years.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And everyone listening to this podcast knows that longevity and health span is a huge passion of mine and something we talk a lot about on this podcast. And I love one thing that I just want to dive a little bit deeper into. I love how you said, there are these products out there that might, work on a topical level. They might, exfoliate. Your skin might look a little bit, maybe some of those fine lines are gone. It might look a little bit glowier. It might look a little more hydrated, but you're not necessarily really fixing it on that cellular level. So it's like you're putting a Band-Aid on things and then it looks a little better momentarily, but you're not really doing that deep work to age better. And so that really speaks to me, because that's really how I think about like all health and wellness, not just your skin health, but just even when I'm talking to people about their heart health and what they're doing for to prevent heart disease. That's how I think about it. It's not about doing just these like quick fixes. It's about what are the things that we can do for better health span so that our bodies are working better for us for the long run. So I love, and that's one of the things I think when I learned about OS-01, what I thought was so, in OneSkin as a brand, what I thought was so fascinating was, some of this science that you just talked a little bit about, but how to me it really felt like, wow, this is a product that is actually a tool to help like the big picture, to help aging like for the long haul. It feels like, wow, like it's really doing something just on that deeper level. And I think that was the thing that really like drew me to it originally. So anyway, I just wanted to comment on that because I just want people to, I wanted to make sure they picked up on that because it's a really cool thing that you're doing, that you really are, you're working, the products work on this like deep cellular level versus just like giving you these quick fixes.
Yeah, and I love that you got that from our brand because it's a huge part of our purpose. Is as you said, like to promote this, healthy, stronger skin for the long term, not only for the for the near term, and because we see the skin more than a cosmetic organ, we see this as a vital organ that we should take care throughout our lives. We want our skin to be resilient, to protect our bodies, and so that's why we think so much like this maintaining the health for the long term and not like only like as a short quick fix, as you mentioned.
So we're talking already about health span, and I want to just dive a little bit deeper there and ask you about just lifestyle in general. How does that affect our skin's biological age? I mean, we know things like smoking, for example, is going to cause oxidation and cause free radical damage and cause wrinkles in our skin. But like, what are some other lifestyle habits, things we're doing that are increasing the biological age of our skin?
Yeah, so basically, skin aging is driven by two main factors. One that we call intrinsic or internal aging. That's the natural aging process, your cells dividing. It's mainly driven by genetics, but it accounts only for 10% of how our skin ages. The other 90% is driven by extrinsic aging, or environmental factors, your lifestyle, your diet. UV exposure accounts for the majority of this extrinsic aging. And so we needed to be aware that, obviously sun protection is important. Even in cloudy days, we know that 80% of the UV rays, can penetrate the clouds. And UVA, that's like the rays that actually cause aging, that can penetrate deeper into your skin. They also are able to penetrate like windows, and so if you are working by the window, you are being exposed to those UV rays constantly. So be mindful, as you said, of like your diet. If you're smoking, other types of like blue light, we're in front of our screens every day. So making sure that your sunscreen has like this broad UV protection, SPF protection. Obviously, your sleep and hydration, exercise, most things that we know that are important to keep our internal body will definitely impact our skin. And obviously things that are more, external topically, as we know, UV exposure, pollution will be, a direct, source of damage into our skin.
Okay, so that's 90% we have some control over. I mean, obviously there's certain, in that 90%, some things we have more control than others. We've got more control of our diet than we do of the pollution and the environment, of course, but still 90% of it is somewhat controllable. That's really motivating to me. That's really motivating to think about, like, that you've got a lot of control over how your skin ages. But one thing you just mentioned that I don't think many people are aware of is blue light. So blue light from our screens, from our computer, from the computer that we're on right now, how is that affecting our skin aging, and what do you suggest for that?
Yeah, so basically, blue light is also causing some free radicals. So it can, again, increase the oxidation of our proteins, our cells in general. And so you our SPF can protect against blue light, and also antioxidants can help like neutralize free radicals. So our SPF has both like UV protection against blue light, but we also have antioxidant that helps neutralize. And so that's something that we should be aware, if you're all the time in front of the screen, that again, having that broad spectrum SPF is important to protect against blue light.
I mean, I think that is hugely important for people to know, because I don't think when people think, especially during like the winter months, oh, I'm not going outside much today, and I'm just, sitting at my computer all cozied up by the fire in my laptop. No, most people are not thinking that they need UV protection. So that's super fascinating. And then one of the other things you just brought up was the free radicals. And we know that the UV rays, we know the pollution, many things, highly processed packaged foods, right, cause free radicals. And we know that free radicals are those sort of, just for everyone listening, those wild compounds. I always think of them as sort of like the wild cards in your body that can cause all kinds of damage, everything from neuronal inflammation to, wrinkles, to cancer, to plaque in your arteries. So we really want to control those free radicals. One of the ways we control them is with antioxidants. Antioxidants are those good guy compounds found in healthy foods that squash those free radicals. Antioxidants, one of my favorite topics as well. So anyway, that's why I just wanted to just refresh people's memory if you weren't aware of that. But I'm glad you brought that up, Carolina, because I wanted to ask you. I mean, I talk a lot about the foods and the things we can eat. Obviously, as a dietitian, I talk a lot about the foods we can eat to help squash these free radicals with high antioxidants foods, and specifically ones that are good for the skin. Vitamin C, for example, we know found in things like citrus and greens. Not only does it help squash free radical damage, but it also helps increase the skin's collagen. So I always think of like vitamin C foods as being excellent for your skin. Can you tell me, like, what are some of your favorite skin-friendly, free radical fighting foods that you personally eat and or recommend?
Yeah. I usually think to, increase the diversity in terms of colors. So they usually say like eat the rainbow, right? I like that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like different colors you have, like you're having those different source of vitamin C, vitamin A, zinc and copper are also very important. So you can either get like from food or like supplements, but they are also important for collagen production, as you said, similar to vitamin C. You can also supplement with collagen if you want an extra boost of having this source of like the peptides that build up collagen in your body. So when you are intaking collagen, basically you are not necessarily making sure that your skin will produce more collagen, but you're increasing the chances of offering the substrate that the skin needs to have those building blocks to build collagen again. But obviously your body has collagen in different places, so your body can also send those peptides into whatever area it needs the most. It could be your tendons, your cartilage, but there are several studies showing that collagen intake can also help your skin
Yeah.
quality, plumpness, etc.
I'm a big collagen fan, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
I like to mix like, protein, like whey protein and collagen when I'm doing like a smoothie. And I add, berries and things like that that will help, again, with the antioxidant. Other things like healthy fats are also really important, again, to decrease inflammation in our overall body. Being very mindful of like foods that can spike your blood sugar, as we know, like you're gonna, tend to increase inflammation, or you can obviously, become more insulin resistant. And also the spike in sugar can lead to this process of glycation in our collagen that makes our collagen weaker. And this is one thing that we still don't have a way to reverse with like technology and all like the ingredients today. We cannot reverse glycation in our collagen. And so if we can avoid as much as possible, we should avoid again this, uh, glycation process, which is mainly led by like sugar and glucose spike. I think I try to be mindful of again hydration, not only intake of water, but either adding like electrolytes or
Yep.
like drinking like coconut water. I'm from Brazil, so we love like the fresh coconut water. We don't have them
Yep.
like as much, but I think it's such a rich source of like all minerals and all these electrolytes that we need to have a proper hydration. And yeah, I think I touched on the main ones that are important for the skin. Again, it's kind of similar to what we do for a healthy lifestyle in general.
Right. Right. I'm glad you brought up the electrolytes because hydration, we know, is so important for your skin. But if you're drinking a lot of water, but that water is not going into the right places in your body and you're just peeing it out and
Yeah.
you're not really becoming properly hydrated. And I think especially for midlife women, as our estrogen decreases and our hormones are out of whack, we are often not properly hydrated. It affects our hydration status as well, which is why I do recommend electrolytes for, I recommend them for a lot of different people. I mean, for athletes, sometimes when people are doing hot yoga, but for a lot of midlife women, not all, but a lot of midlife women who are not properly hydrated, having some electrolytes every day in addition to your healthy diet can be really beneficial. So I'm glad that you brought that up. It definitely can be helpful, which we then know that also can then just help our energy, and it can help. I mean, they're important for so many different reasons, but I'm glad you brought that up because again, hydration we know is so important, is so important to our skin health. So aside from, staying hydrated and getting in those electrolytes sometimes to help us with our hydration, anything else about hydration and skincare we should be aware of? Anything else that might be harming it? Or I just figured, while I have you, I'll ask you anything else about that because I know it's an important one.
Yeah, I think obviously being mindful of like alcohol intake and
Right.
caffeine, those things can also you know cause some dehydration, so mainly before bed, and then you're gonna combine dehydration with a bad night of sleep, and then in the end like your skin will definitely suffer and will tell you that these are not good for our skin. So yeah, that's another thing that I try to be
Yeah.
mindful about alcohol consumption.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and by the way, it's pretty obvious. I think for most people, all you have to do is think about a night where you get a good night's sleep, you go to bed after a cup of tea and you've hydrated all day and you use your good skincare, wake up in the next morning looking a lot different than a night where you maybe had one too many drinks or even just a drink and were not hydrated. You know how you wake up, what you look like the next day. You definitely, I mean, maybe when you're 20, you don't look any different, but when
Yeah.
you're 40, 50, you see it in your skin. So anyway, we were talking about UV rays and how that can damage the sun. But there's so much talk right now about vitamin D, and we need vitamin D for so many reasons, for our immune system, to our bones, to even managing our weight, even our mood. And so many people are deficient in vitamin D. And there's been a lot of talk about, well, we need, getting it from the sun and getting a certain amount from, the sun without sunscreen, and then applying the sunscreen. There's a lot of different opinions there on how best to get your vitamin D from the sun. What do you say to that, and how to handle that?
Yeah, so I'm a big, fan of sun. I love being outdoors. I'm from Brazil again. We love this.
Yeah.
But I also was very, very mindful of like the potential sun damage. So if I can, in the morning, I would like have like natural sunlight for 10, 20 minutes, bare face. Obviously depends where you live, because depending,
Right.
even early on, it can, like I live in California, so it's still very mild in the morning. But I think you can obviously sense the UV index, and plan to have something that's not going to cause damage to your skin. And then I will
Mm-hmm.
apply my, as mineral SPF every day. And so if I'm out in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
doing an exercise or walking, I would also apply on the areas that are exposed, or I will use like some UV protective clothes.
Right.
And but yeah, so what I recommend, like I know that there is a little bit of either confusion or a little bit of concerns about sunscreen in general. The chemical sunscreens are the ones that can potentially get into your bloodstream, and we don't
Hmm.
know long term what would be the implications, and some of the ingredients uh, we just don't know their potential toxicity. While the mineral sunscreens that are basically based on zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, these are very safe, and they basically form a layer on top of your skin, so they're not going to get inside your body, and they can today still have a very nice blendable texture that in the past we didn't have. Right, in the past it was like that white paste that you would apply and it would be awful, and
Right.
nowadays we are able to have that beautiful, almost like a foundation, looks like a foundation, and has this protection. And so you feel that you are doing something that's good for you, and you don't need to compromise
Yeah,
in any way,
absolutely.
in the texture, or in the in potentially causing unknown harm. And so that's my approach. And I go out into the sun, and even if I'm reapplying sunscreen, I see that I still get like the sun. I see the melanin production in my body. And so I also constantly check my vitamin D levels. I also
Right.
supplement with vitamin D because it's just part of my, already multivitamin that I take.
Have you ever looked at a skincare product and thought, I wonder if this is actually going to work? I mean, I think we've all done that, right? With OneSkin, I never wonder if it's going to work because I have real proof. Their whole company is led by scientists with backgrounds in tissue engineering, stem cell biology, and skin regeneration. And their products are backed by rigorous lab and clinical studies. The OS-01 body is definitely helping my crepey skin, and I'm obsessed with the tinted OS-01 face SPF. It feels like butter going on, and it feels so good knowing that it's moisturizing my skin and protecting it all at the same time. I just love it. At the heart of their topical supplements is their proprietary OS-01 peptide, the first ingredient scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age by targeting cellular senescence. Those are those zombie cells that make your skin age faster than it needs to. Think about that crepey skin that we all want to get rid of. The research on their OS-01 peptide has been published in peer-reviewed journals such as NPJ Aging. And not only that, the data for OS-01 and their products clearly are listed on their website, so you can learn all about that and the incredible science behind all of their products. In lab studies, they've measured a 130% increase in collagen production with their OS-01 eye cream. And another study showed that their SPF neutralizes free radicals, those are those bad guy compounds that I always talk about, 4 times more effectively than other so-called anti-aging sunscreens. The proof is in the numbers, friends. Try OneSkin and see for yourself. And you can get 15% off your first order with the code Keri, that's Keri, at oneskin.co/Keri. That's oneskin.co/Keri.
But I think you can still produce your own melanin, vitamin D, if you apply sunscreen and if you're out in the sun. But you need to make sure that you are definitely avoiding sunburn, because we know that's really harmful, not
Yeah.
only for skin aging, but also potentially to skin cancer. And so that's my approach. Try to find
Yeah.
like a middle ground that I get a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think that's great and so practical. It's funny. Sometimes I think if I go for a little short walk in the morning, like maybe I'm just going to meet a friend for a coffee early in the morning, or maybe I'm even just walking to my workout class. I live in the city, so I could walk 10, 15, 20 blocks there back. Like maybe that little walk, like I'll do without the sunscreen if it's early enough. But then the rest of the day, I make sure I have it on every day, regardless of what I'm doing. And especially, obviously, if I'm going to the beach or something like that.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel good, because I always kind of feel like that's that little dose without, and then but the majority of the day, really, I always have it. So I'm on the same page there for sure, and that makes me feel good that that's how you do it too. And I do take vitamin D, because my levels are usually low whenever I get them tested. So I do take that, and I also recommend that for many women, because and men, but many people do just have low levels. So you need to make sure that you do have adequate D, but frying yourself in the sun is not the way to get it. So,
Yeah.
and thank you for explaining the mineral versus chemical sunscreen, because I know a lot of people also are still confused about that. And it's amazing that there are like great mineral options now. Okay, let's talk a little bit about midlife women specifically. What is happening in our 40s and 50s? Like what actually is going on in our skin that we start to age? Because what it's like, it's the thing about us, right? That we actually see. We know our insides are aging too. We just don't see that, and we see our skin on a daily basis, and we see it aging. But what is actually happening on a cellular level that makes us look different? Like what are these fine lines and wrinkles truly on a cellular level?
Yeah. So, I mean, midlife is also like an accumulation of, wear and tear and damage through, excuse me, through decades of our lives, right? And so it's
Right.
just not something that, out of a sudden is happening. Excuse me. But also on top of that, this cumulative damage that it could be maybe when you're young, you're not very mindful of sunscreen, or you're like, again,
Right.
having not the best habits, as we all been there. But obviously with the hormone like decline, mainly estrogen, that hugely impacts our skin.
Right.
Estrogen is the hormone that
Right.
it keeps like the collagen productions. It keeps our skin hydrated. It keeps our skin, more plump. And so when there is that, significant decline, we see a loss of 30% of collagen the first 5 years post menopause. So that's a massive,
Oof.
loss of collagen. Also, your skin
Yeah.
starts to stop producing like oils, the natural oils that it would produce, and so your skin will get drier. And if it's drier, the wrinkles will look like more prominent. And so, what's happening internally is that there is more collagen breakdown. There is less production of hyaluronic acid, and that keeps your skin plump. And internally and externally, there is also accumulation of other factors that are driving aging. One of the factors that we study a lot at OneSkin is the accumulation of these old cells, the what we call like zombie cells or aging cells, that are cells that stop functioning well. They stop producing collagen. And the main problem is that they start secreting inflammation and spoil the healthy cells around to
Mm-hmm.
age faster. We like to compare
Mm.
them with like, a strawberry that's getting mold and start to spoil the other strawberries in a bowl.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that's what these zombie cells is doing to our skin.
Those are the senescent cells, right?
Yes.
The senescent cells. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And so they also, accumulate significantly throughout, this midlife period. And we can, there are strategies. That's the one that OneSkin is pursuing to, combat those senescent cells. And if you have fewer of these, zombie cells in your skin, you can make room again for the healthy ones to replicate. You decrease inflammation. They go back to produce collagen, and they can basically rejuvenate the skin from the inside out, because these cells are not only accumulating on the upper layer of your skin, they're accumulating the inner layers. And that's how this peptide that we discovered works. Like it penetrates to the deeper layers and works from the inside out. So that's like what we can do with our approach. Obviously for women, that are, going through menopause, if they are not doing hormonal therapy replacement, there are also some products with like topical estrogen. I would be careful, but I think could be an interesting solution if you want to
Mm-hmm.
combat that loss of estrogen with a topical solution. You just need to be sure that you choose a very validated, scientifically
Mm-hmm.
proven brand, because hormones is so, we know, right? Like they're so important that you don't want to mess it up too much. So we want to make sure that you have the right dose in a way that can
Right.
support again, because our skin cells have a lot of receptors for estrogen, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
when it declines, we see such a huge impact in our skin.
Right. And what we've already even talked about today, things like taking your collagen, making sure that you're not eating inflammatory foods like highly packaged processed foods, fried foods, make sure that you're not having a lot of sugar that can cause that glycation you talked about that we can't even reverse. And then, doing things like having, your whole foods with antioxidants that fight the free radical damage, making sure that you're wearing your mineral sunscreen. There's a lot that we can do, making sure that you're having your collagen, because like you said, it decreases. So even though estrogen decreases and there's all this, like there's this damage and collagen decreases and we see all this happening, there are a lot of things we can do to prevent this and obviously aging happens. We're going to age. We're not supposed to
Yeah.
stop aging altogether, right? But there are a lot of things we can do to age really well. And I think, again, we just already hit on a lot of things that are really doable on a daily basis for people in midlife. But okay, so we started talking about the zombie cells, these senescent cells, and how at OneSkin you're targeting them. Like that's when you were doing your research, you learned about these senescent cells, and you said, and this is how we sort of started this whole conversation, you were really looking to improve skin health on a deeper level, not just this sort of, again, putting a Band-Aid on it, making people look a little bit better in the moment, but actually really helping them. You're in it for the long game here. So can you just tell us at OneSkin, the OS-01 peptide that you discovered and you created, like what exactly is that and how does that exactly neutralize or kill or destroy, or however you say it, the zombie senescent cells?
Yeah, so basically, as I said, like we had this hypothesis that if we could decrease the number of the zombie cells in the skin, this could be a very new approach, an effective one to really reverse the age of the skin. And so we spent 5 years just testing peptides. We tested over 900 peptides before we discovered OS-01. So it was a very extensive, rigorous process. And the data that we found is that OS-01 can reduce up to 40% the load of these zombie cells in the skin. In turn, it helps like the healthy cells to replicate. It increases
Mm-hmm.
collagen production to similar level that retinol does, but without any irritation. Improves the barrier of your skin, so your skin is stronger, more functional. And the most exciting thing is that we could measure the biological age of the skin, and we could reverse the age of the skin in 2.5 years, in the skins that we treated in the lab with this peptide. So all of that was really, exciting, because we could show that yes, aging is reversible, and this peptide can actually, reverse the age of the skin. And so from there we decided to create this line of products that's very minimalist, but as you said, really focus on addressing aging at the cellular level, improving the health of your skin, and consequently improving the appearance of your skin. And not only from your face, like we are treating your skin as a whole. Your skin is important as an organ. So we have products for your face, but we have this incredible body lotion that has amazing clinical studies. And again, for women in midlife, they are seeing amazing results with the skin that's getting thinner. So this product helps to increase the thickness of the skin. It helps with collagen production. It helps with hydration. And we also did a clinical study that shows that, and this was done with older participants over 60 years old, but just to show the connection of like skin and our body health, that
Mm-hmm.
only by treating your skin topically for 3 months, twice a day, whole body, we could reduce the systemic levels of inflammation. So we could measure decrease
Wow.
in inflammation in your blood by treating your skin topically. So really showing the impact that
Well,
your skin has in your internal health.
that's so fascinating. So you're reminding me of a study that I'd once read, and I'm not going to remember the details of it, but I know that there was a study that I once read a few years ago about how you hydrating your skin or using a moisturizer to hydrate your skin a couple times a day reduce your risk of Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm throwing that out there. I'm not remembering the exact study. I'm going to try to find it and throw it into the show notes. But do you know what I'm talking about? Have you
I think
done
I
any
know
research on
because
that?
because in the end, this study that we did, and it's published in a peer-reviewed journal, so we can also share with
Yeah.
your audience. It's comparing against this product that's only a moisturizer, and our product has more than a moisturizer, right? Has the peptide and has other actives, and was exactly replicating this study by comparing with our product, and we saw
Oh, wow.
better performance in all parameters. It could be like overall skin appearance, barrier, hydration, and this decrease of inflammatory markers that, as you said, is connected with like chronic diseases, Alzheimer's, and
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but again, it just goes along with living a healthy lifestyle, like taking care. Your skin is your largest organ, right? So taking care of your skin is just something you should be doing, like eating your whole real foods and getting in your healthy fats and getting in your antioxidants and drinking your water and getting your good night's sleep and reducing your stress. Like taking care of your skin is another thing. So it makes sense that it does help us on a systemic level, but it's just something where I don't think people always connect those dots. I have a question. So I've been having this conversation with a lot of friends recently where they've been saying, okay, so I still have my muscle right here. I'm pointing for those of you that are not watching the YouTube, that do not see the video. They're like, I have my muscle right here still, but around it when I'm at the gym, like I still see this crepey skin. Or I notice when I'm at yoga and I'm going into down dog, I'll say, woo, what is that crepiness there? I'll see a little bit that was not there. And so
Yeah.
I know myself included, like really working on that crepiness of the skin. So is that zombie cells doing that? Is that where that creepiness comes from?
Yeah, crepiness, it comes again from this loss of collagen and all the supporting proteins that help maintain the firmness of the skin,
Mm-hmm.
and also increasing in thinning of the skin. So the upper layer of the skin, it feels like crepey. So our product again showed like a really strong improvement in the thickness of this epidermal barrier. If I'm not mistaken, was something between like 35% to 40% increase in collagen. So that's why I was mentioning this body lotion, because people have seen amazing results for crepey
Mm-hmm.
skin around their arms, around their
Yeah.
knees, and so we are so proud to share this, because again, this is important for us as a brand, but we are even more excited that people are seeing these great results and it's helping them with like
Yeah.
this really important.
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons that I started it myself, and I've been using the body, and I'm definitely like I can't wait to share all of my results here, but I've been very excited about it. And another thing that we didn't talk at all about, and we don't have to get into this if you don't want to, but I also have brown spots on my skin, and I've noticed that OneSkin is helping reduce the brown spots, like those brown aging spots on my legs, that I've noticed that too. And is that something that you have any clinical trials on or that you specifically focus on?
Yeah, we don't specifically focus on, but it's kind of one of the consequences of like again restoring like this healthy skin. And so
Mm-hmm.
we know that when you have more zombie senescent cells, the inflammation that they secrete will dysregulate melanin production.
Mm.
So by decreasing inflammation and decreasing the load of these senescent cells, we see an improvement in dark spots. We also see that our peptide, I didn't mention like how the peptide works. So basically the peptide enters in the
Yeah.
cells and helps like increasing DNA repair. So imagine that if you have your skin treated with this peptide in the sun or out and about, like your skin will be more resilient in repairing the damage as you are
Mm.
affected by this damage. And the other thing that the peptide does, it's basically to shut off those senescent cells that are secreting inflammation, so they stop secreting inflammation. And with like decreasing inflammation in your whole skin, your own body will clear out some of those senescent cells, so you can again restore that homeostasis in the skin. And so all of this together help the skin again to behave like younger skin, and then
Right.
look like your skin, but like more so function like younger skin.
Mm-hmm.
um, so on top of the peptide, that it's the main ingredient in our products, for all of our products, we have many, many antioxidants. And so the antioxidants and like vitamin C, for example, will also help with like dark spots.
Mm-hmm.
So on our SPF, it's one that we have like really 5 powerful antioxidants, including a more stable version of vitamin C, green tea, acai extract, and we measure the antioxidant levels comparing to a regular
Mm-hmm.
vitamin C serum, and this was comparable. So basically, you can already get your antioxidants from our SPF, and then you simplify your skincare routine if that's what you want. And so, so the antioxidants and vitamin C will also help with like the dark spots, and plus the peptide, and plus all the anti-inflammatory, actives that we have in the formula as well.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm glad that you brought that up about the peptide, because the OS-01 peptide, I want to just, for everyone listening, all of the OneSkin products have this OS-01 peptide. So regardless if you're using the eye serum or the tinted moisturizer or the body lotion, you're getting this peptide, which I just think is so cool. Again, you're just helping this, our largest organ as a whole, all over, just to act younger, which is just, again, so cool. And how we sort of started this conversation. So if someone was just getting started though here, and they're saying, okay, I'm midlife, I got to start stepping up my game here and taking care of my skin as much as I sort of, take care of maybe the food that's on my plate. I want to start taking care of my skin more. Like, where should someone start with these products?
Yeah, so I think the main one, it's our flagship products, the OS-01 face moisturizer. We also call it like a topical supplement, because we see this product as a supplement
Right.
for our skin.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like that. Yeah.
Which for us, again, we are focused on improving the health and the function of your skin. So we have the face moisturizer. It's a lightweight moisturizer you can use like day and night after you cleanse your skin, or if you want to apply any serums before. But if you want to just like simplify, again, this is all-in-one kind of product. Then we have the body lotion that we already spoke so much that it's a must have. And if you want to go one step further, we have this eye cream that we developed, because basically there is data showing that we know that the skin around our eyes ages faster. We don't know how much, actually we know. It's basically, we measure the skin just under or above your eyes, and it's like 20 to 30 years older than the skin around your temples.
I
So
mean, that skin above your eyes, not your eyes, maybe the skin above my eyes. Oh,
yes,
every
I know.
day I'm like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? I mean, I am so focused on keeping that skin as young as possible.
So we actually developed this eye cream testing in eyelid skins that we got from, leftover of blepharoplastic surgeries. We did a partnership with a clinic,
Wow.
and we got this very thin, delicate skin, and we developed this formula that it took us like 2 years, a lot of iterations, and we increased the concentration of the peptide, and we saw the strongest data that we have in among all of our
Wow.
products in collagen production, in improving
Wow.
elasticity. And we ran a clinical study, and it confirmed like all the lab data, in now seeing people with increased firmness, elasticity, and not only under your eyes, as you said, above your eyes. A lot of the images, it seems that you had like this drooping skin here, and
Right.
to really smooth out, almost like you did an eye lift. So this is like one product that I'm super excited about because, the data that we have is the strongest one. And so again, it's a very
Wow.
gentle formula. So it should not irritate your eyes, and you can apply, under and above your eyes, twice a day. So if you want to, take that step further, I
Yeah.
definitely recommend that.
Well, that's super exciting because I do think a lot of people use an eye cream, but only under their eye.
Yeah.
So being able to use it everywhere, and then a lot of people are, going for that blef surgery. So being able to use it all over your eye, that's amazing. You're doing such incredible research. It's just so cool that you started off as this researcher, someone, super interested in stem cells and biology. And now you've gotten to this place here where you're developing these incredible products that are helping, again, women age just better. And you're really doing it again on this deep cellular level, which is just so cool. And I could talk to you about this forever, but I won't keep you here forever. We'll just have to continue the conversation another time. But thank you so much. I've got, I also want to let everyone know that in the show notes, there will be a special code for all of you fabulous listeners. So go check out the show notes for that. And I'll also put in links to some of this research that we've mentioned throughout the conversation. So Carolina, my last question for you, and I think I might know the answer. What do you do on a daily basis to ignite your most nutritious life?
Oh, that's always a hard question. Well, maybe this may be a little unexpected, but I try to feed my soul.
I
And
like
so
that.
I try to feed my soul with like good thoughts, with gratitude, and with this reflection, that I'm, trying to be my best version every day, and so, calm my emotions. Running a company is very challenging, so try to
Yep.
be grounded, but and then have this very, positive mindset that helps me go through anything, or, at my best during the day. And then on top of that, a lot of the things that we discuss. But if I need to choose one, I'll
Yeah,
choose
I
my.
like that. Feed your soul, everyone. And then the skincare. No, feed your soul, then eat for your skin, then add your moisturizer. No, I like that. I do. That's amazing. That's beautiful. And I think too many people, especially people like yourself running businesses and founders, don't often take that time to feed their soul daily. So that's a beautiful, amazing reminder. Thank you so much, Carolina, for being here. And I'm so excited to continue to share some of these OneSkin products with all of my listeners and followers.
Thank you so much for having me, Keri. This was so fun.
Have you ever looked at a skincare product and thought, I wonder if this is actually going to work? I mean, I think we've all done that, right? With OneSkin, I never wonder if it's going to work because I have real proof. Their whole company is led by scientists with backgrounds in tissue engineering, stem cell biology, and skin regeneration. And their products are backed by rigorous lab and clinical studies. The OS-01 body is definitely helping my crepey skin, and I'm obsessed with the tinted OS-01 face SPF. It feels like butter going on, and it feels so good knowing that it's moisturizing my skin and protecting it all at the same time. I just love it. At the heart of their topical supplements is their proprietary OS-01 peptide, the first ingredient scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age by targeting cellular senescence. Those are those zombie cells that make your skin age faster than it needs to. Think about that crepey skin that we all want to get rid of. The research on their OS-01 peptide has been published in peer-reviewed journals such as NPJ Aging. And not only that, the data for OS-01 and their products clearly are listed on their website, so you can learn all about that and the incredible science behind all of their products. In lab studies, they've measured a 130% increase in collagen production with their OS-01 eye cream. And another study showed that their SPF neutralizes free radicals those are those bad guy compounds that I always talk about, 4 times more effectively than other so-called anti-aging sunscreens. The proof is in the numbers, friends. Try OneSkin and see for yourself. And you can get 15% off your first order with the code KERI, that's KERI, at oneskin.co/Keri. That's oneskin.co/Keri.